Thank you for watching iTablet. Be sure to like this video, subscribe, and comment #iTablet to enter the iPad mini giveaway when the channel reaches 2,000 subscribers. Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I want to talk about the new iPads and what I think about this new lineup. So when you look at this lineup, you can basically drop off the iPad mini because the iPad mini is just a large phone, which at this point is basically the most iPad-y type device and the most honest device because it doesn't come with a keyboard, it doesn't come with any fancy accessories, it works with the Apple Pencil, and it's basically the most easy product to understand because it's just an iPad. When you get to any of these devices, Apple didn't really tell us a good story about what it is that makes an iPad Pro worth it compared to something like the entry level. Even though there's differences in hardware and differences in some Apple Pencil capabilities, and maybe this one can run apps that are slightly more powerful, the reason to buy an iPad Pro is so small for so few people that basically across the board, these are basically just iPads. They're all trying to be something else. They're all trying to be MacBooks, but they're also incredibly bad at it. Because when you look at the iPad lineup, it's still quite confusing in the sense that there are too many models. If Apple wanted to simplify the iPad lineup and make it easy for people to understand which one to buy, they need to get rid of one of these things. So if Apple wants the iPad lineup to make sense, they need to make it more similar to the iPhone lineup, where with the iPhone lineup, you have Pro and you have iPhone. This is very easy to understand. This is the fanciest one, this is the one for everyone else. On the other hand, you have, this is the fancy one for people who are professional, this one is for everyone else, and I don't know what this one is. And basically, if Apple was smart, they would just basically take the Air name away, and they would squash these two together and just call all of these iPad. So the entry-level iPad, which is so similar to the iPad Air already, but just basically has the worst hardware. And then one step up, you have a nicer version of the iPad, which is a similar size. Then one step up, you have the 13-inch iPad. And then if you don't want any of those, you can go back to the iPad Pro. Because at this stage of the iPad story, all of this has become so complicated, so confusing, and the iPad is in such a weird state where it's not a MacBook and it's not an iPad anymore. And basically at the moment, the most pure version of the iPad is the iPad mini, because it's not trying to be anything else. It's not trying to be a phone, it's not trying to be a MacBook, it's trying to be an iPad. But then I hear you say, why would I buy the entry-level iPad or an iPad Air when I can buy the new thin possible iPad Pro with the M4 chip and AI capabilities and all kinds of stuff like that? And the only thing I can say about that is that when it comes to this device, when it comes to something which is not a MacBook, something that's so unique, which is the iPad, specs don't really matter. The thing that matters here is user experience. And at the moment, the user experience is so poor because of iPadOS. iPadOS is not good enough to replace the Mac at the moment. It's not good enough to do most tasks because a lot of people who comment on my videos are people who basically just take their iPad on a flight or play YouTube or reply to emails and sometimes surf the web. And they don't do the kinds of workflows that real professionals do. I'm a user experience designer. I work in Figma the entire day. I have lots of different apps that I use. That's why I have a MacBook as well as an iPad, because the iPad is just not good enough to be able to replace this. The iPad should be good enough, and it should be the device that I go to, because why would I want to carry this boring MacBook around when I could have a device which looks like this, which has an incredible keyboard, which I can remove and I can write on the screen and I can add accessories to it and I can change the experience to whatever I want. Why would I want to use a boring old MacBook when I can have something as cool as this? And the reason why I can't do that is because of iPadOS. iPadOS is just, I mean, the fact that they say this every year, it's even more capable, it's even more you. This is all just marketing. If it was really capable, a lot of people would not be saying, like, why would I buy an iPad? Why would I buy an iPad when I could do everything on a MacBook with macOS, just much easier, much quicker? And I know a lot of people say that, you know, the iPad is for people who want to have a easier user experience and they want, you know, it's for older people, it's for kids, it's for all kinds of people who don't want to have a real computer. But guess what? If you're going to market your device as a capable device, as something which is for either kids or really old people or, you know, people who just want to use it casually, then why the hell do you make it look like this? Why do you make it appeal to people who want to do professional work, and why do you call it a Pro when it's not a Pro device? So I'm getting really tired of this narrative that the iPad is the device for everyone else. Those days are over. The iPad is a mainstream device. The iPad should be the device that people choose whether they want to choose an iPad or they want to choose a MacBook. Because at the moment, if I had to recommend an iPad to somebody, I would tell them not to buy one. And as of today, before WWDC, where obviously things will change and there's going to be a new iPadOS and all kinds of stuff like that. Today, I would tell somebody, do not buy an iPad. Buy this instead. Buy the M2 MacBook Air. This device is the best computer I've ever had. And of all the iPads I've ever had, of all the devices I've ever had, this is the computer that serves my needs at the moment the best. The combination of it being small, lightweight, it has decent features, it has lots of RAM, it has tons of storage, and it runs macOS. All those things make this device a dream to use, whereas something like the iPad, you can put an M4 in here, you can put an M5 in there, you can put an M17 in there, you can give it all the AI capabilities in the world. How will AI make the basics of iPadOS better? Because if iPadOS is going to get AI, how will that improve the experience of me trying to take a file from the Files app into Mail, or to do anything with files, where I can just do that on a MacBook at the moment with the Finder, much easier. Why is it that on a MacBook we have a Finder that works and has been working for the last 40 years, where we can move files around, we can do all kinds of stuff, and we can get our work done, but on the iPad and iPadOS we have the Files app, which is completely useless. This is where the iPad is at the moment. They just released this incredible device. They've released this incredible device which is so thin, and when you put this next to a MacBook Air, this is as thick as the MacBook Air when it's shut. And it most likely weighs the same as the MacBook Air, if not less than the MacBook Air, because it's so thin at the moment, the iPad itself. That tells me that if they made a device which is on par with this device, that the next version of iPadOS must be so good that the OS will finally be worthy of the amazing hardware that they built. At the moment, I can't imagine buying this because it's just a waste of money. Because the thing I have at the moment, the MacBook Air, the primary computer that I use at the moment, this thing is the ultimate computer at this point, whereas this should be the ultimate computer. It has everything. It has touch, the pencil, keyboard. You can use it any way you want. It's much more versatile than a MacBook, but unfortunately, it's just not worth it at this point. So I think if you're planning on getting an iPad, especially this iPad, which will cost you close to £2,000 or $2,000, do not buy this until you see what's coming out to WWDC, because you only have to wait until 10 June, and then you'll see what the future of iPadOS looks like. If 10 June comes around and iPadOS still looks like this, and it still works very similar to what we have at the moment, and Stage Manager is still a massive part of the user experience, and the Files app is still terrible, and the way the apps that you can use are still very basic, then unfortunately we're in a place where we really have to think twice about whether we buy iPads at all, because we've given this company many years to make up their mind and to give us a reason why this device should exist. And in the age of really amazing MacBook Airs and the M1 chips in incredibly thin and light MacBooks that last, quite frankly, 2 days sometimes on one charge, why would I buy this? This is just a toy. Until we have a better operating system, this is only a toy, and it's a really nice toy, and they can call it capable as much as they want. But if you're a professional, if you're somebody like me who has real professional workflows, there is no way that you'll choose the iPad over this device. So what do you think? Let me know in the comments down below if you agree with me, and also let me know what you are expecting from iPadOS in June when we see what they reveal at WWDC 24. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for watching iTablet. Be sure to like this video, subscribe, and comment #iTablet to enter the iPad mini giveaway when the channel reaches 2,000 subscribers.